So, hello and welcome to Click Video Mag, coming to you from the lovely city of Cologne here in Germany. We're here for the little photo show that's happening over the road there. Was that Photokina?
Photokina. Not so little. It's huge.
Yeah, it's the biggest photographic show in the world. It happens every 2 years. We're very excited to be here. We're having a look at all the latest announcements. There's a whole bunch of them that came up on the 15th of September. Yeah. You've got the new
M5. Sure, I can't wait to get my hands on one. Unfortunately, I haven't had one yet.
Yeah.
But it's basically an 80D in a small mirrorless body.
Like that a lot.
Amazing little camera.
And that came with a new lens as well. Yeah.
Came with a new lens, 18-150, so general walkabout lens. Put one lens on the body and go for it, like things like this.
That's pretty good because that's what's like a 10 times zoom. It's a 28 to 240, so
yeah, it's a 10 times zoom, so you can get it's a travel lens.
Fantastic, like it a lot. Well, also on the 15th of September, we announced a new 70 to 300, the IS lens Mark II. The Mark I's been on the market since 1996, a good 20 odd years.
Yeah, long time.
So it's really good to see a new replacement. We got to play with that over the weekend.
That's a lens with a little LCD on the top.
Little LCD. So
like that.
First time we've done that. So that's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah.
But we're here at Photokina, not necessarily for you guys to listen to what we're saying as usual, but we're getting a whole bunch of different opinion pieces. We're going to talk to some guys from product management at Canon. We managed to catch up with a couple of, hopefully some celebrities along the day, and see what we get. So
here we go.
This is a Photokina report from Click Video Mag, less about us, more about the show.
We at Photokina, we managed to catch up with him. You're going to tell us now what you do, but luckily we caught him. So what do you do for Canon?
I'm a Canon product specialist for compact cameras and mirrorless cameras. So I look after all of the intricacies behind the G7X Mark II, down to the Xs series and up to now the EOS M5. Yeah.
You've just mentioned two of my most favorite cameras, G7X Mark II, which is the travel camera that I always travel with, but M5. Man, I've been waiting to see that, and first time I saw it. Tell me a little bit about it.
It's a fantastic camera. So I'm in Canon for 12 years now, and it's one of the best cameras I've ever had the pleasure to actually, get involved with.
Okay.
The best thing about it is we shrunk the camera down to a compact body that's so small, 55% of the size of the 80D. We don't compromise on the handling, which is a beautiful thing. So if you cast your mind back to the G5X, so the philosophy is relatively similar. So smaller size, but don't compromise on handling. So beautiful thing on the camera is actually the grip. It looks relatively small, but it handles beautifully because especially there's a thumb pad on the back of the camera. Also, we have incorporated an extra dial on top of the camera, thumb operated. So if you look at the top panel of relatively high-end SLR, so the 80D, 70 Mark II, they all have direct access buttons to functions like metering, white balance, drive, etc. And that button on top allows you to toggle through all of that, and your thumb quickly switches all of that through. And my favorite feature about it is actually the ability to use a touchscreen whilst you're using the viewfinder. So if you put your eye to the viewfinder, the screen is still active, so you can use your thumb to place your AF point where you want it to go. And that's quick, a super quick switch to AF points, and that even works with video. So I've got guys who come up to me and say, I'm a video shooter, and this is one of the best things that you've implemented because I can be so incognito when I'm shooting, and they don't even know I'm shooting a video, and I'm switching autofocus points. And the dual pixel CMOS AF will just pick up the subject that they want, stay locked onto it, and it's fantastic.
So I just want to touch on something that you said there. So if I say that it's basically an 80D, am I very correct?
You are pretty much correct. So the technology behind the camera is pretty much an 80D inside. Obviously there are differences. So for example, the processor is newer actually. So the Digic 7 is included versus a Digic 6 on the 80D. So what that gives the user is the ability to assured and fast focusing. So it's very accurate, it's very fast, and also in movies means that subject tracking is also lovely as well. So the camera will just hold on and lock onto the subject as the scene moves.
Sure. So dual pixel AF is our technology. It's something we've developed now for quite a while, and it's the first time we're seeing it in the mirrorless.
Yeah.
Do you think that's where the market's going to go for us?
we, as you know, we are constantly monitoring the market, and mirrorless segment at the moment is evolving massively. So, in a way, this is actually the best time for us to launch an M5, because the need for such an expert or high-end mirrorless camera is greater than ever. So with our feature set, so the reshored handling, great image quality and connectivity, which we will mention in a minute. So yeah, all of those things combined makes this an incredibly proposition for this to be a second camera to 5D, 6D, 7D owners, as well as maybe even an alternative replacement camera for existing 4, 5, 600D, maybe even older 40, 50D users who are looking into a more capable camera but smaller size.
Yeah, you want something smaller that you can carry around.
Absolutely.
You touched on connectivity. Now, I've heard good things about connectivity. Tell me.
So, Wi-Fi NFC is still included. So that's across a lot of our Canon cameras now. Actually, even the 5D Mark IV.
I think about 95% of our compacts now have Wi-Fi.
It's the norm now. However, what we have included is Bluetooth. Okay, so it's a Bluetooth low energy technology. So once that is on and paired with your smartphone, it will stay connected with your smartphone. What that means is your camera can be in your camera bag, and you thought about a shot and you really need it, in your phone, and then you can use your smartphone to wake it up and transfer it over to your phone. No interaction with the camera at all, and then once you wake it up, it will automatically jump to a full Wi-Fi connection, so you have a fast transfer speed. Once you disconnect, it will jump back onto Bluetooth. Yeah, it's incredibly simple, incredibly intuitive, and it's a massive step for Canon, because we always talk about good connectivity, and this is another step towards that. So least amount of interaction and most simple connection possible.
Welcome back to Click Video Mag. We're here on the Canon stand here at Photokina with one Paul Atkinson. What's your job title again?
I'm the product specialist for pro video cameras for Europe, Middle East and Africa.
So you've just come back from IBC, where we launched the brand new EOS Cinema, the C700, our new flagship. How was that? How was that for you?
Very well received. It's getting a lot of excitement in the industry.
Cool.
People are beginning to realise that it's a serious production camera.
Right.
It's aimed at the highest production values for broadcast and for cinema.
Excellent.
And with a lot more TV stuff, especially being done with cinematic values and production values and cinematic look, it's going to fit right into that.
But it's weird, because the EOS Cinema, the C300 Mark II, C500s have always been seen as B cameras.
Yeah.
This is very much an A camera. Make no mistake. Yeah,
absolutely. And not only that, we now have something that we can use as an A camera with the C700. The C300 Mark II would be the B camera or the second unit A camera. XC15 being used as the crash cam, the handheld, the action cam. So you can now have a Canon camera at every location. And of course the advantage is they're all going to be set, if you're recorded internally, they're all XF AVC. They can all be set Canon log. You can set them all to the same colour space, which makes your workflow a lot easier at the end of the day.
Well, that's the one thing that we know, that a lot of people, when it comes to edit, if you've got brand A at this camera, brand B on that camera, brand C on this, trying to colour match is a bit of a nightmare. So having all three Canons is a really, really good thing. Well, we like the C700. It's very modular. It's quite, you can pretty much do anything with it. Different handles, different viewfinders. I like the universal battery pack, going away from a sort of Canon owned brand. Was that a concerted decision from Canon?
I think it was just because the power consumption on it, and the fact that we can now connect accessories to the front of the camera and power them from the front. So we've got a 12 volt and a 24 volt, and it makes it fit in more with existing equipment.
Absolutely.
Having said that, we are going to be releasing the new viewfinder, which again has been really well received because of the quality of the image and the capabilities of it.
Excellent.
The nice thing is that you'll also, post March next year's firmware update, you'll be able to connect that to a C300 Mark II as well.
Very interesting.
And it uses the same video connector as that camera does.
Like it a lot.
Yeah, so it's a good little piece of kit. Nearly everything on the camera is an accessory. There's very little in there, which means you can make it as complicated as you like. So we'll have a side panel, we'll have for controlling, We'll have our own shoulder mount and rods and lens support, stuff like that. So yeah, we're making it really modular, but still fully compatible with those people who prefer to use sort of third-party accessories.
It wasn't the only camera we announced. We also announced the XC15. I mean, we've had the XC10 in the market for a couple of months. Quite popular in a small 4K kind of environment. Big change to the XC15?
Physically, the only things you'll really notice is the hot shoe is gone and the cold shoe is in.
All right.
And the connector on the side for the MA400 audio adapter.
Oh, so you've got balanced line inputs now.
Yeah. So you can take full in XLR, 48 volt phantom, line mic, exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Internally, there's a few more changes.
Right.
So if you like, what we've done is we've sort of improved the professional credentials of the camera a bit.
Okay, interesting.
So we've taken off MP4 as a recording option and added 24p. We've also added the ability to set camera angle as well as shutter speed.
Interesting.
Again, that means we can match it in with 300 Mark II, C700. We've added a waveform monitor. If you look at something like the C300 Mark II, as an example, nearly everything that we added onto that when we released it is a result of customer feedback.
Exactly.
Which of course means that those customers that ask for it have got absolutely no excuse not to buy one.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing, the XC10 went through a big firmware upgrade recently, and the autofocus speed went through the roof. It's absolutely amazing. The new XC15, same speed.
Already integrated. I mean,
what a pleasure.
Apart from the things I've already mentioned, I mean, it's pretty much the same sort of camera. What that does mean is that we submitted the camera for testing for EBU criteria for broadcast, and it would have passed had it been able to do 3-pin XLR audio. So image quality wise, it was more than adequate, more than suitable for UHD TV production.
Right.
But now you've got the added bonus. So whether or not we'll have to resubmit it as a separate camera model, I don't know. So it isn't approved yet, but I'm confident that if we did, it actually would be.
Sounds good. Like it a lot. Well, that's it from us talking to Paul. Hopefully we'll see you back in south of the equator sometime in the future. We've got MediaTek coming up in 2017, and we've got some plans of action for that. Hopefully you can join us for that. Anyway, thanks very much, Paul. Great seeing you.
Hi everybody, we've managed to get hold of Richard Tristain from Canon. Give us a quick idea, what do you do for Canon?
I'm the Consumer Product Marketing Manager, so I'm responsible for product marketing from everything from point and shoots all the way up to mid-range DSLR.
Sure, it's a big range of cameras. Specifically, I want to talk to you about the thing hanging around your neck, M5. That is an amazing piece of kit. We've just released it, which now gives us 3 cameras in the mirrorless range. What is Canon's idea about mirrorless? Where are we going?
Well, I hope everyone can see from this camera we are absolutely deadly serious about mirrorless. This is absolutely an area that we are going to be big players in the future, no doubt about it. So we now have everything in the range from the M10, which is very much entry level, the kind of camera that a smartphone shooter could easily pick up and use. It's got simple menus, it's got features like Creative Assist, where you don't need to know anything about shutters, apertures, ISOs. It's all about, do you want background blur, don't you want background blur?
Especially for the shot, for the smartphone guys.
Really got stuff like that. We've got the mid-range M3, which has got a really great sensor in it, good in low light, nice controls, and then of course we've now brought out the flagship, which is absolutely stunning. It's got the kind of sensor from an 80D, it has a really vastly improved dynamic range, dual pixel CMOS AF, this is a very, very fast camera, very, very capable, and we hope this will attract probably people who have already own an EOS camera or mid-range camera and are looking to upgrade, and they're thinking, well, maybe I don't want to go big, I'm going to go small. And this is every bit as capable as a mid-range DSLR.
So I think what we can see is it's a clear step that we're becoming very serious about mirrorless.
Absolutely.
So how big is the mirrorless market? Do you foresee it that's where most of the DSLR market is going to go?
Oh, it's really hard to say, but there's no doubt that the ranges are shifting. You can see instantly that mirrorless is growing whilst DSLR is shrinking slightly, and that's where it's going. So, typical Canon, we will move with the times. We will consider very carefully what we want to do, and but for sure, mirrorless is a big part of what we're going to do in the future.
Click Video Mag, still on the Canon stand. We're here with Mike Burnhill. What do you do for Canon?
I'm the professional imaging technical support manager for EMA, so covering all Europe and Africa.
So we're here to talk about 5D Mark IV. Obviously, this has been on the web, and it's lots of people either love it or hate it. Lots of positive and negative reviews. But you've had it in the market now for a week or so.
Yeah.
We've sold a couple of thousand in Europe already.
Yeah, we've done very, very well. We've got. We're well on our way to hitting our budget for this year.
That's good
so it's all looking very, very good.
More importantly, what have people been thinking? I see that the 5D4 part of the stand is permanently busy.
This and the M5 have been kind of inundated by questions. People are kind of passionate to see this sort of product because of the heritage of the 5 Series.
Good. Your personal opinion on the 5D4? A considered upgrade? Did we do everything we could have done?
And there's always room for upgrade.
Of course.
To say everything is perfect would be kind of living in a dream world, but
for sure,
we have tackled so many little things on this product, and the problem we have is the spec sheets that we give out, we can only cover so much. And the beauty of this product is in the detail. There's so many small updates under the skin that you may not realise that has a performance benefit to them.
Absolutely. Well, I've been a fan of 5D2, 5D3, and I've used them for absolutely donkey's years, and I loved them to absolute pieces. Picking up the 5D4 was immediately all of the nuances from like the 5DS that we've seen. That soft shutter was beautiful, but a lot of the little controls that came from what we've done recently, so 80D, DX2, 5DS, have all worked into this, and I love it as an upgrade. I think it's an incredible camera, and it's quite interesting to see that what people would naysay about the cameras, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, all of the things that people want all come at a price.
Oh yeah,
and a considerable price at that.
One of the big things is talking about 4K. And the problem with 4K is it's a great technology, but it's not really a consumer-friendly technology.
Exactly.
Because you need workflow, you need a computer powerful enough, the software, the delivery, how you get it from your computer to your TV or to the internet. These things aren't in place. And we saw the same sort of thing with the 5D Mark II with Full HD. The number of support calls, how you actually process Full HD. And now Full HD is so, but 4K is at its infancy for those things.
Indeed.
So the implementation of this is designed for certain markets. It's what we should have done with the 5D Mark II originally. We were a bit naive, but for example, the 8K frame grabs. One of the biggest feedbacks we had was a lot of people using this camera for news stories.
Of course.
And budgets are cut, so they're being made to do
one
video.
Camera, one man,
I've seen rigs where you have a camera and a still camera on the same rig. So they didn't have to choose between still and video.
Fantastic.
But now you can shoot 4K video, and then just worry about that, and then frame grab later on. The budget isn't massive for these jobs, so so they've got this ability to do both things and get paid for both jobs. So that is kind of fantastic.
Another thing that a lot of people don't realise about 4K, it runs hot. The processing power required, the memory card, it runs heat, like physical heat. And I mean, in our environment in Africa, it's a major thing.
Which is an interesting kind of a point as well. In those specifications, we've actually created the subframe out of aluminium, which
to dissipate the heat.
But it also makes the camera lighter.
Exactly.
It sounds such an easy thing to do, but manufacturing a plate that can do these stuff needs a bit of work.
Exactly.
So it wasn't available previously. But
adding bigger frame rates, adding CFast cards, adding all of that, all comes with a price. And it's not only about monetary price. I mean, physical weight, heat sinks, and bulk, and integrity.
We were looking at the robustness of this camera. We just didn't feel the UHS 2 standard is robust enough. From our testing, we got a few damaged ports, and people don't want damaged card slots.
Exactly.
And we've kept the standard SD slot because I keep referring to it as the Kodak Gold of the memory card world.
It's standard,
So wherever you are in the world,
you can get a card.
You could probably get a card. If you're doing a news story or a feature, you can go down to a local shop and get an SD card. You'd be hard pushed to get a CFast or maybe a compact flash card, even in London in a local place, unless it's a specialist dealer.
Final thing, top 5 things you love about it.
I love the fact that you can customize the rear screen to bring all your favorite functions on. I also love that it's no longer polarized, so when I'm wearing my sunglasses and I do that, it doesn't go black. FTP, again, I always say Wi-Fi, but the big killer thing is built-in FTP. You can actually transmit straight from the camera. While the guy next to you may be doing story, he has to put it into his laptop, type everything in, send it. I press a button. bye.
Like
you know,
us,
you
yeah.
go. So that little feature in itself. I was talking with our ambassadors. He's done a bit interesting story about ivory poaching in Africa.
Yeah.
And now he's doing the follow-up in China about what happens to it, and this is what drives the market. They don't want him to be there.
Yeah.
But he needs these stories, so he takes the photographs, he's FTPing it.
Oh, wow.
Then the man punts a gun in his face, takes his camera off him.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, I've lost
Images,
my camera.
yeah.
The important bit of the story is back in New York.
Incredible.
So a little thing like that. Weatherproofing.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's it like?
you guys won't see it, but you have to see Ulla's presentation. Ulla Lohmann is our German explorer. She was the first person to use the camera. She pitched this fantastic story about going to a Pacific island.
Okay.
Oh, okay, great. Off you go.
Salt water, sun, sand. The three worst things for a camera.
No, not even close.
No stress.
She didn't mention the volcanoes.
Oh, right, volcanoes.
Yeah, her passion was the volcanoes. So she went on an expedition into a volcano with a camera.
And no stress.
And no stress, you know. And in fact, she actually sent some photographs of the camera in the rain from a time lapse. Left it in the rain for like 2 hours, no problem at all.
Not
Afterwards,
on the spec sheet, yeah.
Afterwards, we discovered it was acid rain. But you know,
Lovely.
little thing like that. So you know, and of course, dual pixel RAW, and you have to see that to believe what it can do.
Indeed. That's it for us. Thanks very much, Mike. We do appreciate your time. So that's us from Click Video Mag here in the wonderful city of Cologne with the beautiful Dom behind us across the River Rhine. We've had a wonderful time at the show. It's been interesting.
Yeah, it's been very, very cool. Saw a lot of great stuff. Some very interesting stuff.
Yeah. Some of the brands had bigger stands than we expected. Some brands had much smaller stands than we expected.
Very tiny.
Yeah, but well, we're seeing, you know, who's investing quite a lot of money in the biggest photographic show in the world. There was a lot of interesting brands, some things that we'd never seen before,
Yeah,
which was
some very interesting knockoff stuff.
Yeah, well, knockoff brands, yeah, but when you see lenses from manufacturers that you've never even heard of,
yes,
including white lenses, which was quite weird. Yeah, anyway.
Strange kind of white there.
Yeah, but lots of cinematics. You can see there's definite move over to movies on a big scale. There wasn't any sort of huge trends that we noticed that was anything radical. Drones seem to be quite a big thing. There's a lot of brands with drones.
Was a good thing. I thought we saw more on the 3D printing scale. I thought we see a lot more video, so video type cameras. We saw a lot of video accessories. But nothing new on the video camera department.
Yeah, there's quite a few action cams though. A lot of people had little sort of handlebar, you know, cameras, that kind of story. But again, predominantly knockoffs of the big names out there. Yeah. But it's still been quite an interesting show from us. We've had a lot of good times, a lot of good interactions with some really cool people, and we hope you've enjoyed it. That's it from this issue of Click Video Mag. We'll talk to you pretty soon in the next couple of weeks. Not necessarily with something new, but with some cool stories anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good. Anyway, that's it from us from the wonderful city of Cologne in Germany. Thanks very much.
Cheers.